pretty much all the practices that we're doing, all the meditation that we're engaged in, involves quite some sensitivity to the body. And this sensitivity to the body is one of the things that really remains a thread, whatever practice we're doing. So with the breathing, with the certainly with the awareness of body, even in the metta practice. So yesterday Kobe began talking about the third foundation of mindfulness, mindfulness of the mind, talking about emotions as part of that. And here too, the sensitivity to the body is quite central. So when there's an emotion going on, joy, anger, peace, depression, sadness, fear, whatever it is, where do we feel it in the body? We usually get so caught up in the mind and in the stream of thought. Where do we feel it in the body? Just noticing, where is it manifesting in the body? How is it manifesting in the body? Heat, pressure, tightness, openness, warmth, softness. Where and how is it manifesting in the body? For positive emotions that we want to cultivate, love, joy, peace, this attention to the bodily aspect actually is one of the factors that helps that to grow in our life, helps those emotions to grow. And for negative emotions, difficult emotions that we are looking to gradually let go of, anger, jealousy, depression, etc., fear, this attention to the body helps to not let them spin out of control, because we're with the body and not dragged off by the mind and the thought, which will add to the negativity. So where and how is it in the body? And just to be there, present in the body. Second, can we notice our relationship to it? Just to notice, what's the relationship to it? I really want it to go away. I hope it never leaves me. I don't want to know about it. What's the relationship? Just to notice. Can it be, is it possible that it can be a relationship of interest, of curiosity? Can it be a relationship of kindness? What would that mean? What would that feel like? What would it look like? Can it be a relationship of openness, of spaciousness? When emotions are difficult, we are gradually developing the capacity to accommodate, to embrace, in a way to be larger than difficult emotions. This is extremely healing, because mostly emotions have the better of us and we are surrounded by them or trapped by them or sunk in them. So slowly, gradually, we develop the capacity of awareness to accommodate. Nothing can be here in awareness. It's very healing, very healing. In working in this way, gradually, slowly, we are developing courage in terms of difficult emotions, developing courage, developing openness, developing also confidence, which is one thing we often lack with difficult emotions. Fear comes, depression comes, we don't feel confident in relation to that emotion. Slowly we see we can be with this, we can accommodate it. Mindfulness, awareness can accommodate it. We are developing gradually the inner resources that we need to work with our emotions throughout our life in a really skillful, really healthy and healing way. Now this isn't easy. This is not easy. No one would say it's easy. It actually needs kindness and it needs patience. it needs interest. It needs that curiosity. Sometimes we can get very quickly into analyzing, figuring out our emotions and the psychodynamic of it, and why it is. It's because my parents and their parents and da-da-da-da-da. And there's really some usefulness to that. But sometimes much more healing, much more helpful is to let go of all the talk, because we can talk all day about our emotions around that. Let go of all that and all the analysis, and just to be with it. What does it actually feel like? Can I embrace it? And so a second part of the third foundation of mindfulness. Okay, so we're mindfulness of the mind. Emotions is one part. Thought is another part. I want to say a few words about thought. As I said at the beginning, this meditation is not so much about getting rid of thought. Okay, rather, we might say it's about freedom with thought, freedom in relation to thought. Sometimes we're sitting, walking, going through the day, and the mind is thick with thought. Thick. It's hard to see any light. It's just like a swarm of mosquitoes or locusts, totally covering up everything. Sometimes when it's that thick, the metta practice is actually very skillful, because the metta with the phrases is actually thought, and so it's using the energy of thought, but in a helpful way. It's actually harnessing that energy. So we learn to put down the obsessive thinking by just returning to the metta phrases, to that thought over and over. If we want to start observing our thought, being mindful of our thought in meditation, then this really needs quite a groundedness in the physical sensations, quite a groundedness in the body. If we're not so mindful of the body, so rooted in the body, thoughts come and we're just pulled off to yesterday, to tomorrow, to something we like or don't like, to whatever it is, daydreaming. Thoughts so quick and so attached are we to thought that we really have to be quite grounded in the body, and from that anchoring then we can begin to notice thought and understand something. So if in the meditation one feels somewhat grounded in the body and the thought isn't too thick, one can begin contemplating thought. What can help, some people find it helpful, is a little bit of labeling of what kind of thought it is. So you might notice a thought of judgment. Instead of getting involved in it, just notice, just label it, judgment, just very quietly, judgment. Or planning, worrying, or remembering, daydreaming, whatever it is. That labeling of the thought, very, very quiet, subtle labeling of the thought, can help just create just a little bit of distance from the thought, a little bit of space around the thought. And that's usually the thing that we're lacking with thought. We have no space with thought. It's just literally in our face, and we can't see anything else. So for some people, this quiet labeling is really quite helpful, quite skillful. Again, what's the relationships to the thought? Am I trying to get rid of it? It's also quite useful with thought, let me say something else first. Sometimes when one really feels quite settled, it's possible to investigate the kind of obsessive thoughts we have and see what's hidden underneath this. Is there an emotion hidden underneath? A feeling somewhere in the body? Or what's the assumptions hidden? Am I assuming something? Am I believing something? And just to see what's holding all this in place, because it often goes unexamined. So this labeling or examining of the assumptions is dealing with the content of thought. But a lot of practice is actually more skillful to investigate, to turn the attention to what we might call process rather than content. So not so much what a specific thought is about, or what is it that I'm obsessing about, but to begin to notice, for instance, the fact of the arising and passing of thought. It comes and it goes, it comes and it goes. How long does a thought last? One thought. Arising and passing. So noticing, more than getting involved in the content, turning the attention to the fact of its impermanence. We begin to get a sense, if we look at the process of thought, just this stream, this arising, passing, its impermanence, its nothingness almost, intangibility, insubstantiality, ephemeral nature. There's almost nothing there. Begin to get a sense of this with thought. Thought is also, when we begin to really notice it, we see it's completely unpredictable. What will you be thinking in 6 seconds' time? It's impossible to say what will come up. Where on earth does it come from? It's not willed either. It's not something I say, in 6 seconds I'm going to think this. Probably by 6 seconds we've forgotten. It's thought is arising, we say it's again not me, not mine, it's just coming out of nowhere and disappearing into nowhere. And see this impersonal nature of things, impersonal nature of thought. We tend to take thought as me, as mine. And actually, look, it's just completely unpredictable, completely unwilled. It's not coming from my will. To see its impermanence, its nothingness, its not belonging to me. Like I said the other night, I think the image can be very helpful. Awareness, like the night sky, spacious. Thought arising like colourful fireworks bursting in awareness. And we go, ooh, or wow, or whatever. And then it fades. And it's nothing. It's just faded back into awareness, into the night sky. So this can be very skillful and can use the listening and the body sensations as a kind of anchoring. And within that, just noticing thought flickering in and out of existence. Not me, not mine. That sense of space is really helpful for the contemplation of thought. So again, not necessarily easy all the time. Sometimes it actually can feel quite effortless, but not necessarily all the time at all. But gradually, slowly, in practice, with practice, we really, truly begin to undermine the authority, the power we give to thought in our lives. Because it has tremendous power. You think all the wars, all the racism, all the madness that humanity is capable of, all the thieving, everything is all coming from the power of thought. It needs thought. And also all the beauty, or a lot of the beauty, the creativity, the building, the structures, the helping. Thought is so powerful. And yet oftentimes we are the victims of thought. We think something and then it's like it has so much power in our lives. So contemplating this way, we begin to truly undermine the power of thought. And then we can use thought instead of it using us. We have, through not understanding, invested thought with a power that it doesn't really deserve. It doesn't really have even by itself. And we can, in a way, take that power back, or take that power away. And one begins to see, one may get a glimpse, actually a thought is just a thought. It's just a thought. That's all. It's just a thought. And then one begins to sense the relief of a freedom and a spaciousness around thought. Settling into a posture that's comfortable. Posture reflecting some ease, some openness. Also a quality of brightness, of presence, uprightness. Really settling the consciousness in the sensation of the body. Just simply how the body feels right now. Just present to the bodily sensations, the dance of sensations in the body. And when you feel ready, turning the attention, the mindfulness in a very alive and wholehearted way to the breathing. Breathing in with mindfulness, breathing out with mindfulness. And in the practice today, really using the breath as the principal place of collecting the consciousness, collecting the mind and the mindfulness, place of simplicity, of ease. And then at times, if you like, to explore the body sensation, to explore the Vedana, to explore the emotional life, especially if it seems to be really strong, to be calling. And if one feels quite grounded in the body sensations, feeling free to begin to explore the thought, the thinking life. And whenever one feels a little scattered or ungrounded, returning to the breath. When things seem a bit too complicated, just returning to the breath. Collecting the mind once more.